this is what makes me think that NASA is lying to me. I remember when I first got born again years ago. I got saved, and I become religious, and I started reading the Bible, and then I read something about the firmament, and I didn't know what it was.
That's what the Bible used to call like space, like what's outside.
That's what some people say, and the reason why a lot of us don't look more into flat Earth is because when it is brought up, we're fed propaganda. Like for instance, you see like a pancake Earth out of space, then you hear somebody talking about it. That's not what we think. We don't think that. But that's what the image is that's fed, and then they mocking like flat Earth and telling us why. Well, if the Earth was flat, then gravity would pull everything to the center. All this propaganda. Okay, so when I learned about the firmament, I went back. When I heard about the firmament, I went back to the Bible and I said, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." I didn't know what it was, and I remember the Bible saying it's separate the waters from the waters. Then I looked up the word firmament, and I looked up the old word. You got to look up what the old word is and stuff like that. And then I figured out what that was, and then that sent me on my journey because it was hard for me to believe. And then I wasn't believing. I was like, it's just all conspiracy until I came across this one video of this guy talking about emergency landings. And this is the one thing that tipped me over to believing the flat Earth, and for a few reasons. I remember this older white lady that was talking about racism in America, and she was talking about how our continent is shaped different. Some continents are bigger than what they put in the maps. So she said they mess with the maps and how thing is, and then this guy was talking about emergency landings. He was saying that one time this Asian lady was coming from Asia, I think Taiwan or somewhere, flying to LAX, and she was pregnant, but she was lying about how far along she was. So she got on the plane anyway, and then she started giving birth on the plane. So they had to make an emergency landing from Asia to Alaska. And if you pay attention to where Alaska is on the globe, that is not an emergency landing. And then his roommate was like, what's going on? He said, man, I can't figure out how this is emergency landing when they're coming from Asia going to LA, and they stopped in Alaska all the way over here. Like, why? How is that an emergency? Why did they stop there? And then he said, oh, that makes perfect sense on a flat Earth map. Then he pulled up a scientific, real flat Earth map from 1800. The guy was like, what is flat Earth map? He said, the United Nations logo. They use it. They throwing it in our face. The map that we use is wrong. It's different. They changed it. This is the actual map, and you can look up in the encyclopedias. You can go and check one out of the library. It's a map it says like it's proven. It's a map, and it's scientifically proven. It's a fact that these are the maps that they use. It's a flat Earth map, and you have to fly over Alaska to get to LA. So
from Asia.
Yeah, but Alaska is right by us. It's not far
North,
up. It's by LA. It's not
west.
far. It's not more north than what we think. So like we've been lied to. So that is an emergency landing. Then I started looking to other emergency landings, and I started looking to like layovers and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Why they would fly all the way up here to change, then like the flat Earth map is totally different. Then once you kind of look into the flat Earth map, and then and when you fly across the world, and like the layouts and what it stops and stuff, then it kind of make sense. The flat, and that's what took me over the edge was that the emergency landings thing.
So if ever the expenses, to kind of help you out, it's called geocentric lines. Mm-hmm. So for example, most time when we look at a map is two-dimensional. The Earth is three-dimensional. So as I flatten out a map on the ground, I'm taking a three-dimensional object and I'm squishing it. So it obstructs the lines. So on a flat map, you'll see a line and go, oh, why is this plane going this way? But if I were to grab that map and make it three-dimensional, that line would actually be the shortest point between those 2 points, A and B. Does that make sense? So like, for example, if I fly from like New York to London, I'm flying a pretty straight line. There's a slight northern curvature just to kind of hug a little bit, but like through Greenland and ice and all that. But on a round map, it's pretty straight. If I flatten it, it looks like I'm hooking way north and coming back down. Same thing if you go from someplace from like Russia to come over to LA. There's areas that it's like actually a straight line shot if we're looking at a globe.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the United Nations logo and stuff like that? You ever paid attention to it?
I never paid attention to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What did you call it? A
Geocentric lines.
What I mean, like I said, if I'm ever gonna do a trivia game or anything, Frank is who I call.
He knows a lot of he knows a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, and also too, like another way to prove the curvature of the Earth. It's actually pretty simple. We could do it right now if we wanted to. Like tomorrow, let's go out somewhere where we establish that water's pretty flat, right?
Yeah, that's where you have to prove it.
That's easy right there, right? So you go on one side of the lake, we'll measure off 3 or 4 miles. And if we shoot a laser and I go, okay, let's put a foot up off the water, you put a foot up off the water, we'll shoot a laser across. I'm telling you that every mile, because of the curvature of the Earth, that is going to drop about 6 to 8 inches. If it hits straight on, it means the Earth is flat. If all of a sudden after 3 miles, my shot is 24 inches above your ruler, then we know that there's a curver.
Yeah, I guess we can do that, but that depends. Like the ocean is better because the ocean is flat, like farther. But on a lake, on the other side of the lake bed, the land could be like on a hill or something.
We could do the ocean.
Yeah, if we could,
because the ocean still has curvature. It's still the same thing. It's being pulled down to the middle because of time space. You know what I mean? The weight of the Earth and the time space. It warps time space. So that's what it is. Basically, if you think about it, gravity is more like if I had a sheet. And I put a bowling ball on the sheet and it pushes down. That's what it's doing to time space. And that's why it draws things in, heavy objects.